My name's Jeff Thomas. I was a plumbing contractor for 41 years. I joined the Army when I was 15 years of age, regular Army. I went to a military school, went into the regular Army as an Army engineer and served in Vietnam as a sapper. When I came back from Vietnam, I decided to leave the Army and pursue a plumbing career. My ambition as a young man in Australia was always to have a house and a family. I was married to Penny for 36 years. We travelled together, we didn't fight much. I had two wonderful children. My wife sadly passed away with breast cancer. My son came out to her because he didn't want her to die not knowing who he was. My wife said, well, tell your old man. And my son said, he doesn't deserve to know. In retrospect, that's very fair. In my work environment in the Army, homosexuality was completely frowned on. Even on building sites, of course, were quite homophobic environments. Prejudices were high. My son was going to be like me. I had this line, if one of my plumbers hurt themselves, plumbers aren't wimps or poofters, just get back to it. When my son came out to me, that was something that came back at me like a steam train. And I've always felt deeply ashamed that I spoke like that about my son. I was terrified of losing my son. So I told my son that I loved him and that I would be the one that had to change. You know, one thing I learned, of course, was the strength of gay people. I mean, who chooses to be gay and to be put themselves up to that level of vilification, not only by society, but in employment and in the law? To me, marriage equality was what it was all about. So what I decided to do was to create the Equality Ute. I started fighting initially for my son, but of course, as I met his friends and associates, it was the battle that had to be fought. It's a major step forward, but that doesn't mean to say that society's going to click into line overnight and start removing the social and employment prejudices. What I say when I speak to young men at ACON, I tell them to be proud of themselves and to give their parents a chance. I'm an LGBTI ally because I believe that all Australians are entitled to the same dignity, respect and equality as all other Australians.